Mephiston, the Lord of Death. This miniature is a dream come true. It's a fantasy come to life. I still have this codex. I still have the Angels of Death codex, the well-thumbed, well-used book my mother bought me when I was 13 years old, I think, 12 or 13 years old. In fact, I'm holding it now, and it naturally falls open at the page where this picture is. The Mephiston art is so evocative. I've stared at this image for hours on end, tracing every single line with my finger, with my eye, trying to understand how Mark Gibbons managed to create this masterpiece for me. I hope you can hear the smile on my face, because talking about this miniature, it's nostalgia, right? It's revisiting a time in your life where you felt safe and secure and everything just was unbelievable. I think that's a big driver of my hobby. It's the nostalgic element of these things. It's looking back and I guess trying to reignite those same brain cells that you created when you were a kid. That's the basis of nostalgia, right? It reminds you of a time where you were happy. God, it makes it sound like I'm not happy now. I'm as happy as anybody else. I'm fine. I'm okay. Okay, so the black and white image, used by early Games Workshop era artists, it's just nightmarish. You'll see it swathes of this stuff in the original rulebooks, the Rogue Trader, Realm of Chaos books, the early 2nd edition Warhammer 40,000 books, which reached its peak of grimdark in the 3rd edition army book. But you'll also find it in the 2nd edition supplements as well for the rulebooks, the Codex Imperialis, for example. There's just tons of so much evocative art pressed into such a short space of time. And I was lucky enough, I grew up with this art style, with this unbelievably bleak art style that was such a contrast to the high fantasy sci-fi artworks at the time. It's just beautiful. Alright, enough gushing. I wish I could put my critical hat on here. I wish I wasn't so fanboy about this, but this character is shot through nostalgia for me. I have an emotional attachment to the sculpt that I'm sure many of you share. The first time I saw this online, it gave me that same pang in my loins as seeing Abaddon for the first time in White Dwarf. And that's the old metal sculpt. Yep, I still love that sculpt. You have no idea what it was like seeing that huge Terminator barely fitting on that base for the first time, riddled with details, snarling faces. What a joy. Just and seeing the reimagined version of it, phenomenal. Okay, so onto the paint job. What did I do with this miniature? What did I want to achieve with this miniature? Well, it mimics the tone of Mark Gibbons' artwork as closely as I possibly could. The paint scheme is a study in tonal variations, texture, and atmosphere. The red silk robes, for example, receive a different highlighting pattern to the body plate, which is talked about extensively in the Mephiston Masterclass series. I've done a full suite of video tutorials as well as a PDF tutorial to accompany that. If you want to look at that more, there's links below this video, or if you want to visit Patreon/Legend Studio, you can view it all right now. It's all done and dusted. It's available for you to watch right now. Whew, but all I would say, this is certainly a challenge for any painter, and it's certainly a treat for my man-child yearnings. It's Mephiston, Lord of Death. Phenomenal miniature to paint, and one ideally wish I owned, because this is a commission piece, and sending these things off, well, it's parting is such sweet sorrow. I do own one. Just finding the time to pick up that paintbrush and attack it again is I guess that's the contrast, right? When you're a child, you have the time to look at these images and be inspired by them. When you're an adult, you have the money to buy these things, but not the time. C'est la vie.